Evans, our interim president and CEO, to the podium. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech. Sorry, Chad.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, and welcome to everyone who has joined us here today. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome Minister Fedeli and Associate Minister Cho. Thank you for your confidence in Ontario Northland and your continued investment into our organization. Minister Peary, Minister Smith, ONTC Chair Alan Spacek, and Mayor Chirico, thank you for taking the time to join us today. And welcome to the Senior Vice President of Siemens Mobility Canada, Rob Wheeler. As I stand here, I can't help but be filled with pride and excitement. The announcement Associate Minister Cho is about to make signals a new era for Ontario Northland and our ability to provide modern, safe, comfortable, and accessible transportation solutions that meet the needs of our passengers. As a northern agency, we understand the unique needs of Northerners. We understand especially the importance of working with partners to better connect rural Ontario to major centres, Ontarians to government services, seniors to medical appointments, and students to post-secondary institutions. To all of our community partners, industry partners, and members of the public who continue to help us deliver vital transportation solutions to Ontarians, I thank you. We look forward to continuing to work with you to bring more connections, more businesses, and more access to the places you want to travel. I would like to thank our dedicated team at Ontario Northland and MTO who have been working diligently to reach today's milestone. I know you are excited to hear the news, so I'd like to welcome Associate Minister Cho to the podium to say a few words.
Well, thank you for that very kind introduction, Chad. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. Good morning to everyone. I love North Bay. It's good to be back with my friends and colleagues, Ministers Fedeli, Smith, and Peary, Mayor Chirico, Deputy Mayor Horsfield, ONTC Chair Alan Spacek, and Ontario ONTC Interim President and CEO Chad Evans. I'm really pleased that you could join us this morning for a very exciting announcement. Our government recognizes Northern Ontario has unique transportation needs. People across this great region contend with intense winter weather for several months of the year, and we're going to get a small preview of that today, in fact. Despite the very best efforts of our road workers, at times travel conditions can become unavoidably treacherous. But life doesn't stop and start on Mother Nature's schedule. Medical appointments, family, school, and work still need attending, even in the snowiest stretches of mid-January or December. A reliable transportation network to get people where they need to go on time, safely, and with minimal stress is absolutely critical. And we know that a key part of such a network is a well-functioning and convenient passenger rail system, which is why, under Premier Ford's leadership, our government is bringing back the Northlander. As part of our plan to reinstate this vital service, I'm excited to announce that Ontario has purchased 3 brand new train sets for the future, new and improved Northlander rail fleet. This investment of $139.5 million represents a significant milestone towards the reinstatement of passenger rail service between Timmins and Toronto with a rail connection to Cochrane. These new train sets will not only be able to deal with Ontario's varied climate and deliver maximum comfort and convenience for all on board, they are also some of the most environmentally friendly diesel trains on the market today, meeting the latest EPA Tier 4 emissions standards. The purchase of these train sets is yet another tangible step en route to reinstating the passenger rail service Northerners need and indeed deserve. Reinstating this vital rail connection between the North and South will help drive Northern Ontario's economic growth and prosperity by supporting Northern industries and making it easier for people to get to work, visit family, and access essential services. In 2012, the previous government's short-sighted vision for the future and, frankly, disregard for the people of North Bay, Timmins, Huntsville, and everywhere in between brought about an end to the Northlander. Since then, the people, including Indigenous communities and businesses across this great region, have rightly been calling for the return of this vital service. Well, we've heard those calls loud and clear. I'm really proud to be part of a government that believes everyone deserves access to safe, reliable, and convenient transit options no matter where they live. Together, we're making the right choices today to secure a brighter future for the people of Ontario tomorrow. Together, we're getting it done. Now, I'm going to turn the floor over in a second, but I do want to mention my three colleagues here today. Minister Peary, former mayor of Timmins, Minister Smith, former mayor of Bracebridge, who, when the Northlander was cancelled, were very vocal in saying how this was not the right move. And they advocated to the Ontario government that we need to bring it back. And of course, there's MPP for North Bay and Minister Vic Fedeli, who sits in front of me actually at Queen's Park in the legislature, which positions him very appropriately to be very vocal about bringing back the Northlander, and he certainly was every single day. In fact, when the Premier called me to give me my role, Vic called me before my wife did to say, bring back the Northlander. So it's a great day for the people of the North, and with that, I'd like to introduce Vic Fedeli to the mic.
Well, what a great day for North Bay and for all of Northern Ontario. Thank you so much, Minister Cho. And Stan is right. This is something that we've all been asking for. Mayor Chirko, Mayor Peary, Mayor Smith, Mayor Spatchuk. We were all mayors at the time and politicians at the time when, in 2012, when the Northlander was gutted from the north. So, Minister Cho, we simply have no words here in Nipissing to thank you, other than to simply say thank you. You have been a true champion in making sure that we're bringing the Northlander back, and you're bringing it back in style with these rail cars, $140 million worth of rail cars that have been ordered. You know, Premier Ford made a promise to bring passenger rail service back to Northern Ontario so that people here, us in the north, have a safe, reliable, and convenient source of transportation. And Minister Cho, you've made that dream a reality with this investment. So congratulations to everyone on this project, and we're truly looking forward to the return of the Northlander. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for the official remarks, but we have time for some questions if there are any. I think we can
We will now be
coordinate
taking questions. One question, one follow-up per reporter. Please line up behind the mic if you would like to ask a question.
Hi there, Clark Heipel, EuroTV, Coach Go News, North Bay. Minister Cho, question for you concerning the time frame. When will the passenger rail be back?
Okay, thank you, Clark. It's a promise we made in the last budget to deliver these trains, have them in service by the mid-2020s. And I'll get Chad Evans to speak to the specifics, but we are planning for train delivery before the end of 2026. And of course, once the trains are here, there is work to be done, make sure they're safe, some of the commissioning work, consultations with Indigenous communities, track work, station work as well. But we're confident that we're going to deliver on that promise for the mid-2020s. Chad?
Thank you, Minister. Thanks for the question, Clark. As the Minister said, the work began with a couple of business cases that looked at all the different work streams required to bring this service back. Today's an incredible, important milestone in restoring the service by mid-2020s. There's work streams still to do regarding negotiating with our Class 1 partner along the route. There's work on stations that needs to be done, including additional community consultations that will take place in the coming years. And this will all allow us to meet the ambitious start date of a mid-2020s for the return of the Northlander.
And in terms of service in Southern Ontario, a lot's been said about who owns the track between Toronto and Washego. Is there a concern as to track ownership to make this happen?
Discussions with the various track owners and along the route, with Timmins being the northern terminus, Toronto Union Station being the southern terminus. Ontario Northland track, of course, comprises a little bit over half of that route. CN owns a portion of that track, and discussions with CN are underway and will continue in the coming months. And discussions with Metrolinx at the very end of that route toward Toronto Union Stations have begun. Our sister agency, Metrolinx, we look forward to working out that access agreement.
Chris Dawson with Bay Today. Minister, there's been a number of routes that have been discussed. Where are you in regards to that part of the program? Obviously, a few years before this is put in place, but where are you in regards to the routes that are projected?
Well, thank you, Chris. And I just, before I get to that and turn it over to Chad for those technical specifics, I want to thank the team from ONTC and MTO. This has required a lot of work. It's not just about purchasing the trains and then walking away. All that process, the commissioning, the discussion of where stations are going to go, the track upgrades, consultations with Indigenous communities, environmental assessments, all of that has to go on concurrently to make sure that we deliver. And what is, quite frankly, an ambitious goal on timelines for having rail service restored. We need to push forward with it, though, because we understand that this should never have been canceled in the first place in 2012. And we have 176,000 residents who will have access to this valuable rail service. And those discussions have already begun. I'd like to call Chad to talk about those discussions, but we're confident that with the hard work of ONTC, we're going to meet those timelines for our promise.
Thank you, Chris, for the question. The stations along the route, as I mentioned, we terminate in the south at Toronto Union Station. We terminate in the north at Timmins, the new northern terminus. Along that route, there's 15 stations planned, and these are available for more information in the publicly posted, updated initial business case. That's available on Ontario Northland's website. You can read those stations, and I think there's a graphic of them here at North Bay Station today to take a look at afterwards. And what's unique here is this also involves a connection service between Timmins and Cochrane, Ontario. Cochrane is where our Polar Bear Express operates out of, between Cochrane and Moosonee. And the planning is to ensure that rail passengers can connect via a single mode, via schedules that are coordinated between the Northlander and the Polar Bear Express.
Coffin, Moose FM. Just a quick question about the timelines again. You mentioned that delivery is expected in 2026. How long after delivery do we expect to have the train up and running?
Well, I'll let Chad speak to those specifics again, but we've made it very clear from the beginning when the Premier said he's bringing this service back that we would have it operational by the mid-2020s, and that's why it was important to make sure that we had the right trains available. Very fortunate to be piggybacking off a larger order to actually hit those timelines with state-of-the-art trains, with excellent environmental standards, in fact, the best out there for diesel engines. The timing, we're confident that we're going to deliver on. This is something, as I said, and it's worth repeating. The people of the North deserve passenger rail service. It should never have been canceled 10 years ago. It's coming back, and it's coming back by the mid-2020s with train delivery by the end of 2026.
Thank you, Minister. And Richard, to add on to that, I can assure you that the discussions with Siemens have focused on ensuring we acquire a train set that meets the needs of Northerners and that the amenities on board this train match what the UIBC, the initial business case that we've done, requires. There is rigorous testing and commissioning planned and scheduled to take place upon receipt of these train sets. That will take place with guidance by Siemens and with the transportation professionals at Ontario Northland and with others who operate similar train sets. So we expect to be ambitious about our goals, and ensuring safety is number one, and ensuring that we deliver to meet the government's stated mid-2020s in-service date.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.